I've got a question here from Graham Walden, just talking about support bands. He says, with Kiss, you had some amazing support bands tour with you. Blue Oyster Cult, Judas Priest, Sammy Hagar, to name but a few. Who were your favourite bands to tour with? And were there any bands that you didn't get along with?
I get along with everybody 95% of the time. I'm a pretty easygoing guy. I'm very gregarious. I'm friendly. I'm open. And Paul and Gene, when they were on the road, they were like they never really hung out with anybody in the crew, or we had a huge crew.
Yeah.
With all those stages and special effects, but I was a regular kind of guy. I didn't care if you were, driving a tractor trailer truck or if you were tuning guitars. I used to play poker with the truck drivers and usually win. There's an old saying, it's probably not a good idea to play cards with a guy named Ace. Yeah, that's what was going down then. And today, I don't really play poker that much anymore because I don't have the time. And was that the question? I always go.
No, not at all. He was just asking who your favorite bands to tour with.
Oh, I really enjoyed touring with Rush. We became really close. And after the shows, we used to hang out together in my room or in Peter's room, whoever had the bigger suite. And sometimes Alex Lifeson from Rush would put a paper bag over his head and draw a face on it and smoke a joint out of it and tell jokes. Peter used to get up and he invented this character called Dr. Rosenblum. And he'd act like this really sick, demented doctor. And he'd put on glasses and put on a white shirt and act like a complete imbecile. But we were drinking beer and smoking pot and we were rolling around on the floor laughing, So, that's what it was all about. After the show, we unwind. You want to unwind so you can go to sleep because when you get off the stage, that adrenaline is still pumping. So you got to try to figure out ways you can relax and end up falling asleep. So that's what we did with Rush. Another group that I really enjoyed performing with, I'm really good friends with, is Cheap Trick.
Yes.
And it was such a tragedy when Neil Peart passed away because we were close and we used to hang out back after the shows as well. I remember opening up for Ozzy a couple of times, but that was, what the biggest problem for us in the 70s was? Bands didn't want us to open for them because we're a tough act to follow. We got all these bombs and amplifiers and you name it, we got it. And nobody wanted to follow us. So, we had problems, Luckily, with the success of the live album, that our first live record, we ended up headlining everywhere after that. So it was just a matter of finding groups to open up for us. Bob Seger opened up for a tour for us. I don't know what he's doing these days, but it was a lot of fun, I was young, I was crazy. There was a lot of girls everywhere and no shortage of that. And of course, alcohol and drugs. So,
yeah, that was the days. That was the rock stars.
Going to Australia in 1980 was like unbelievable. We were met by, thousands of kids at the airport. It was kind of like the Beatles coming to America. Same thing in Japan. When we landed in Japan, there was 5,000 kids waiting for us in Tokyo. I never realized, that we had such an impact on other countries. And, finally, towards the end of the 70s, I realized I was an international superstar. And that stuck with me through my whole life.
And do you have any crazy stories about your time maybe in Australia or Japan? I remember speaking to Jackie Fox from the Runaways, and she said that they were mobbed in Japan and they ended up running through department stores and restaurant kitchens to get away from people. Do you have any memories like that?
I'll tell you a funny story. We were in Japan, and there was this famous toy store in Tokyo, and I forget the name of the store, but all I can tell you is, we were there with our bodyguards. I bought, I always was into gadgets. I bought like radio controlled helicopters, walkie talkies, microscopes. Yeah, anything that was, I wanted to have everything. I bought a whole set of Nikon cameras with all the different lenses, the telescopic lens, the micro lens, and it all fit into a neatly contained package that you could carry it with. But while we were in this toy store, we got attacked by these Japanese girls all dressed up in Nazi uniforms.
What?
So that was pretty nutty. And Australia was a joy. I mean, I love Australia. The people are beautiful. The people are fun, fun-loving people, easy to get along with. I mean, the promoter of the tour, he was a maniac. We ended up buying out all the Dom Perignon champagne in by the end of the 1980 Australian tour. They had to ship in more champagne from, I don't know where they got it from, but we drank, he was ordering cases and cases of Dom Perignon. And at that point in time, I was doing a lot of champagne and cocaine, and it was just, it was a roller coaster ride, He kept we kept taking cruises in Sydney Harbor, where that famous bridge is, yep. And he'd fill the boat up with models, fashion models, and who knows, and groupies and whatever. And I had one of the best times in my life. That first tour we did in Australia, it was really special, and I'll never forget it as long as I live.